Okay. I have such a good one today because I know so many of you, are going to relate to my story. I was thinking the other day and I realized that I do so many incredible videos for you guys, and I love that, of course. And I stuff to the brim these videos with just pure info, right? Info on nutrition, food, mindset, and spirituality. I haven't really taken the time to talk about my own journey with it all and sort of where I'm coming from. I speak about all of this. It isn't just through working with my clients and women and creating these amazing videos and content for you. I am definitely not just sitting on my high horse preaching down on you. It's because it's all the things I have gone through myself. I have been through it, trust me, and I've come out on the other side. So sit back and let's get into my whole story of how my mindful work and rewiring my brain with spirituality has made me such a better person, a way better mom. It's really truly been cracking the code with my own body and diet obsession, okay? Let's go to the very beginning of my journey into manifestation and the laws of the universe. If I'm being completely transparent and honest, up until I became a mother, I had such a narrow view of the world, extremely narrow view of the world. My experience in the world up to that point was definitely black and white. And I pretty much deemed anyone spiritual as having lost the plot a little bit. That was so beyond me. I had definitely never meditated before at that time. And the last thing I honestly was ever going to do was sit there and chant affirmations to myself. I thought that was so ridiculous. It was not me. And my mind was so closed off to it. I thought that I was too logical and type A for it, basically. I can remember so vividly, this is such a funny story, listening to a podcast that I was such an avid fan of, constantly listening to this podcast. And Gabby Bernstein was a guest on one episode. And not even 10 minutes in, I was turning it off and thinking oh my God, who is this woman? Hard pass, absolutely not. No time for her message, which honestly now is hilarious to me because I admire her so much and soak up all of her content now. But at the time when I first heard her and first heard what she was talking about, I just wasn't ready for it. It wasn't my time to actually go on my own journey in that sense. Because I was working on making my nutrition business my full-time job and, build my brand, I was getting into the grind and learning so much about business, which was amazing. I did a whole hell of a lot of research into how successful people achieved their successes, the whole success leaves clues logic. I dove headfirst into all the content and all the information I could find about how to build a brand and a business and how to do it well. And the reoccurring theme, honestly, I kept hearing explained over and over again that made my eyes roll at first, but then I caught up to it, was just mindset. And that whole notion quickly trickled down into the law of attraction and manifestation, right? So I started where most people start when they're entering this world, right? Which is The Secret, the book, The Secret. I honestly just soaked it all in. I read it twice, watched the film, and that just opened my mind and led me to believe that there was just so much more for me to learn, and I was ready to learn it and not roll my eyes at it. I had literally just hit the tip of the iceberg, right? I was starting to believe in the power of the mind and the power in how I could just actually decide my thoughts in my own head. I was in control of what was going on up there. What? At that point, honestly, I did not even believe in the slightest bit that I could control the words in my head. It was as if they had a mind of their own and I was just this little innocent bystander just shrugging her shoulders thinking, well, I can't help it, it's just my head, it's just me. But I was waking up and realizing hey, I could actually help it. This is actually in my control. I could change my thoughts. I could change the words in my head. hence change my actions and then change my life. Like nothing is beyond reach for me at this point once I like hacked this. And then this like realization was suddenly like extremely relevant to my postpartum weight loss journey. I started putting like two and two together. Like, what if I was blocking this like release of weight through constantly hating my body and constantly thinking about what was wrong with it? And what if like all this like obsession about what to eat and fearing being fat was like actually attracting the fat to me and holding on to that amount of weight? And what if like all the self-limiting beliefs I had in regards to my identity with food and my weight like weren't true? Like what if they were actually extremely false and just that like self-limiting beliefs? I always believed that in order for me to be thin and in shape, I had to work extremely, extremely hard. I honestly believed it was unnatural for me to be small. I believed that I was born to be thicker, bigger, and I just had a crappy metabolism and genes to blame for that, right? Losing weight was super difficult and it was torturous, and it had to be done like super quickly just to get it over with because it was so unpleasant. I was having this like light bulb moment thanks to my spirituality and mindset. Like I had spent my whole life looking at food and losing weight as like a very, very surface level problem, right? Do this to get that. And then it was just like, boom, it's not surface level at all. Like I finally figured out that I could like never achieve the results and the transformation I was actually after because I wasn't doing the internal work at all. Like actually like everything I was thinking and feeling internally was in direct conflict with losing weight. It was in direct conflict to all the actions I was doing in terms of eating well and exercising. Like I was just fighting an uphill battle and I wasn't even aware of it. I thought I was doing everything right and it was just my shitty luck why it wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. As cliche as it sounds, I realized that you really do need to actually like yourself from the inside before you're ever happy with what you see on the outside. The outside could be perfect and you just aren't going to see it until you feel good in your mind and your internally. People say the statement for a reason, and the reason was like no longer something I could roll my eyes at. Like, and I'm not talking about looking at yourself and your size 16 body and trying to convince yourself that you are this Victoria's Secret size 0 model. I'm not talking about that at all. And I'm not talking about like suddenly posting pictures of yourself in your lingerie with a few rolls and an unflattering angle on Instagram with like hashtag love yourself. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm referring to just being like so in love with your life and yourself really that weight loss like suddenly isn't your main goal anymore. Like weight loss and being thin doesn't become the ultimate sign of validation and acceptance from others and from yourself. Like weight loss doesn't equate to being a good, happy person. Being this super thin and lean version of yourself won't make your life perfect. Basically, like magical things don't just happen suddenly when you fit into a size dress. Like, cool, everything's perfect. I have no more problems, right? I'm laughing though, because this is legitimately what I used to think before. Having this penny drop is the best thing that could have happened to my mind and my perception of my body. Like, oh my God, it really has been. Because I was able to mend these beliefs around what it took to lose weight, I completely stopped dieting to extremes. Like I wasn't tracking everything I ate anymore, and I wasn't obsessing about whether it was on plan or not. I suddenly had like no expectations about a time frame for losing weight. It was like no longer a case of I better get this over with in 6 weeks so then I can actually live again and do what I want to do. I was finally able to use all the positive knowledge I knew about nutrition as a nutritionist and like apply it properly from a completely different state, from a state that didn't hate my body. It was work, definitely, but like I did it. I completely rewrote my story and identity around food and my body, like thoughts and beliefs around diet culture that I had ingrained into my mind since I was 13, like had been completely erased. And pretty quickly, when you think that these ideas had been in my mind for like 15 plus years, I had been able to like raise my frequency like so damn high that finally I honestly didn't even think about my body most days. And this is what I'm trying to get for all of you. This is why I am so focused on having others make this transition for themselves, like figuring out how to put all these like intricate parts into play and action them and achieve them is like the most unbelievable transformation. It's made me a completely different person in like the very, very best way, and put my life on like a completely different trajectory than I ever thought was going to be possible for me. Like, I've found this to be so true with all the other moms that I've helped, that I just want to continue doing the same through my coaching and my channel, and like let moms find the most happiest, confident version of themselves, because it is there. It is so there. Like when you have this like fulfilled and unstoppable mom like at the head of the household, like it trickles down to your kids and to your family at large. Absolutely. Like a new cycle of all these like empowered, happy children is just like released into the world. And I love the thought of that. You know, my daughter, like who has just turned 2, like will grow up with a mom with a positive body image. She'll grow up with a mom who isn't constantly going on diets and saying she's fat and thinking there's something wrong with her body. That's going to trickle down on her. Like it's what I want for all moms out there. Like, and it's so unbelievably possible. It's so possible. In a nutshell, that is my story, and my story with why my channel really is about combining like these two elements in your life, okay? And creating this like epic burnt out to knockout transformation for moms. Taking the mindset work and making it a priority, because you can't do the other crap without it. If you've liked this video, hit the thumbs up button and comment below if you want to hear more personal stories like this on my channel. I have so many. I release new videos every Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time, so make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss any, and I will see you in the next video.